Hello, everyone. This is Calvin Russell, CEO and founder of 850 Club Credit. Today, we're going to talk to you guys about just the trends that are now taking place as it seems like, the world is trying to move past the old way of just regular, credit, traditional scoring, reporting, and just everything that we normally do that we've been doing since 1989, with credit scores and things of that sort. But it seemed like a lot of tech companies are just trying to show us a different type of way of doing things. All right, let's go into it. So for years, I've been talking about how credit has been changing, right? How things, I remember when the soft pull, was just released on a more of a public sellable scale. And what I mean by that is that where companies can now make decisions off of soft pulls that were not credit card companies, personal loan companies, the stuff you get in the mail. And so I was surprised that, they were able to do things like that. And this was about 5 to 7 years ago, and how that's blown up, right? But now you're starting to see a lot of companies that are making huge financial decisions without looking at people's credit score. It's almost insane, right? But they're going by different things now. There's a company, as we all know, the X1 credit card, and they have been making their decisions with, just really based on income. They could care less about, what your credit score is. I think that man, that's a huge game changer. And then of course you have the company that was financially backed by a portion of Jay-Z, and that company is essentially, I believe it's called Alto. And essentially, it's like an Experian boost. They look at, your subscription services, and they add that to your credit reports. And so again, there's a lot of different, softwares and platforms that are essentially, well on the way. But a lot of companies may be making that same shift instead of just looking at credit scores, because as we know, there are plenty of times where, people obviously don't have the best credit. But then what is that linked to? Is that linked to knowledge, which they don't care if you have that knowledge or not? They just want to know, can you pay them on time? And if the income is there, if there's some habits that are in place, it's kind of slowing you down. But if they don't see that on your credit report, that could be a good thing, but that could also be a bad thing. A lot of times people always think about the approval, but you obviously don't want to put yourself in a position where you just cannot afford it. We see it all the time with fake check stubs and, just all the things that people do to try to make their credit reports, much more than what they are, and, becoming authorized users. And in real life, they're a 400 score, they're a 500 score, or they don't have the knowledge, they don't really have the income, but they're looking like a 750 on paper, right? And that's the problem is, we care about so much about the score just to give a perception as if we've made it or that we know what we're doing financially. And in reality, you could put yourself in a much worse situation just trying to be at a place that you're not there yet. And it's okay. Credit is one of those things where, it's not just doing a certain thing, a certain amount of things for a certain amount of time. It's really just through experiencing certain things and knowing when the tough time comes, the slow times come, the inflation happens, and all these things kind of play a role. And those are the things that people don't prepare for. And you kind of learn gradually how to not just cover your finances, but how important things are and how they affect your credit in general. But of course, we're going to be seeing a lot more companies, come out with things and just keeping up with the times. I love it for the most part. But at the same time, you still need that old school way of doing things with credit, especially when it comes to buying a car or getting a mortgage. Everything else, I think, should be a little bit more relaxed. I think these credit card companies are making things much more difficult than they should. That's just my opinion on things. But there's a lot more companies well on the way. I'm telling you, I see so many different companies that have so many different great ideas of saying, hey, we're going to give people these options and kind of change how we look at this. And I think that that's great. But at the same time, trust and believe. They know the risk factor that's there, but you have to make sure that you know the risk factor for yourself. Just because they look at your income and your score and your income's at a certain amount and your score is not necessarily where you want it to be, you got to still make sure that you're making the best financial decision along the way. All right. So of course, hopefully this video was helpful. Obviously, as more tech companies start coming out with more products that are tested, and I'm kind of seeing a trend trend and things of that sort, I'll most definitely keep you guys posted. Many of our clients have let us know what has worked for them as well too. And we usually kind of test the market like that to see how things kind of go first, and then go from there, and then let everyone else know about it and kind of give us our stamp of approval, just in case anybody ever needs to know that. We'll start doing more videos on that as well too. So stay tuned for that. And of course, if you like this video, like it, you want to share it. And as always, be sure to subscribe, as we have nothing but great content well on the way. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.